Hi everyone. Just going to chat about the few drawings I made in Valencia. I didn't make loads. We weren't there for as long as we were in Tenerife, and I didn't actually have as much spare time as I did when we were in Tenerife. I think because we were like city based and moving around a lot, like we hired bikes and everything, and so yeah, it was just a bit more of a hectic holiday. Not in a bad way, just that's how it was. But I did manage to squeeze in a few drawings, which is always nice. So even just a couple is better than none at all. And I'm always grateful that I took my sketchbook with me. And as you saw from the previous video, a very limited pencil set. And I actually think that that was really beneficial for me, not just from an efficiency point of view. So I didn't have very long each time for each drawing, and faffing around with materials would have just cost me time. I didn't feel I was epically lacking in something. Probably the one thing that I wish that I'd taken was maybe like perhaps something like this, because I still remember a drawing that I did in London, not with this one, but with like a grey version. And it was really nice to use, and it felt like the right kind of material for the area I was in. So potentially this colour would have been really useful, but it would have involved a tiny bit of drying time. And again, it's that they're quite chunky and it would have taken up room in my pencil case. I was sort of worried about leaks and stuff and the heat. So it's not a bad thing. It's just something that I thought would have been fun. But actually what I need to do now is I've got a lot of photos and I haven't had a chance to draw from them yet. So I want to maybe try and use my pan pastels and the Liquitex stick for drawings from photographs. Now I'm back in the studio and I can like play with a bit more material that wouldn't have travelled so well. Anyway, so what I did manage to get done was this. So this was the first day we arrived. This is like, we were staying in a little flat in the middle of town, in the middle of Valencia, and this was the view looking down one way out of it was like a tiny balcony with a little tiny chair on. And so I sat and looked down the street at the view just for 20 minutes when we arrived, and everyone was just sort of happy settling in and stuff. So I instantly was happy with the colour palette I bought. These kind of sandy warm tones, they were everywhere in Valencia, and I felt like I'd packed correctly, so that was really nice. Sometimes the benefit of not having enough time is doing stuff like this and leaving it, and at the time I was a bit frustrated that I didn't have a chance to fill it in, but actually looking back now, I'm much happier with this big white space. So yeah, that was the first day. And then on the second day, this is looking the other way out the building. There was lots of domes. It really made me laugh when I arrived how many domes I saw in Valencia. So this was a big dome in the background. So this is looking, yeah, up the street the other way. And it's nice. I quite like focusing, because you see such little, like a lot of these cities that I've been to, like that, like, or Venice or something, you know, everything seems to be like channeled down into a road or into like a little viewpoint. You can see, it's like perspective wise, it's really difficult to capture, but that kind of like forcing your eye into like a particular viewpoint, I think is a really nice way to kind of practice by. So instead of trying to draw too much here, that you're focusing on the strip of imagery that you're being kind of perspective wise, you're being pushed into. It's like, yeah, it was a massive challenge. And actually perspective wise, I think this building is off. Like this bit here, I was trying to work it out how much it grew when it got near me, like the foreshortening and stuff is really difficult, but that you still get a sense of, like, I think even when you get it wrong, like this building wasn't, I think these windows aren't where they should be and stuff, but it's like not really worth worrying about, because it still gives that really lovely impression of these places that are very on top of each other, and lots of balconies and railings and little plants, and then all these aerials and like telephone wires going between buildings. They just give such a nice sense of being in a city that it doesn't really matter that the drawing's wrong, because you don't know that the drawing's wrong. It's only because I'm telling you it's wrong that it's that you're aware of it, but otherwise you wouldn't know that these windows weren't where they were. So it's sometimes when you're drawing, it's good to remember that no one else is going to know, so you might as well just go for it and don't worry. But and then I started another one. This is the same view again with this brush pen that I bought. It's this one here, but I ran out of time and I didn't get a chance to put anything else on top of it, which is a shame because I wanted to see what this was like underneath and then working over the top with more coloured pencil. But I might try another time. This is another drawing that I started, and then like we packed up and we went by the time I'd settled and started drawing, it was we had to go, so I need to come back and do that, fix that later. This was another night we were at dinner and there was these 4 older people all having this really intense, lovely conversation. So I just drew them while we were waiting for our food to turn up. Hi. Okay, I'm back. So my phone ran out of battery. So I went to charge it, and then when I got the plug and refilmed this next section when it started to stop, then when I tried to upload this half, for some reason, unknown reason, it wouldn't let me upload it. Anyway, I'm refilming this section, so that's why if the keen-eyed among you, I often receive messages about my jumpers, so the keen-eyed among you will see that I have a different sleeve on today to the first half of this video, because I don't know about you guys, but here in the UK the weather is atrocious, so filming in the light is getting harder and harder and more challenging. As soon as it goes past 3 p.m. it's basically game over. So anyway, that preamble ramble was to tell you that I don't know why I didn't upload, but I'm filming again and hopefully all will be well. So we did the first half of the sketchbook, and I'm just trying to remember like my train of thought basically from a few days ago. But yeah, so this was a couple of days in on the beach. We went to the beach one day, sort of the third day I think. It was lovely and warm. I mean, probably it was lovely and warm, but it was also unnervingly warm. I don't think it should have been that hot for that time of year, but anyway. So we went to the beach, and on the beach they had these really sweet little huts, sort of quite far apart, but they were like, you could get a sun lounger from these guys and you could buy a few drinks and snacks and ice creams and stuff. So they had this like lovely interior, and then and then they were all this stripy building, and then behind, because Valencia Beach is like situated right at the edge of the town, then there's a lot of building behind that's very beautiful, and again that kind of really lovely warm colour that I was using. So I had quite a lot of time to draw this. I reckon at least 40 minutes, because Ben had taken the kids off on the bikes to look for, there was a supermarket nearby and they wanted to buy a new bucket or something for the sand. So he'd taken the kids, all of them off, and so I had a very peaceful 40 minutes to draw. And I didn't know how long they'd be, which is always quite good for me. So I work relatively quickly because I could be interrupted at any stage. So and then I had a bit of time, they hadn't arrived, so I sort of turned around to face the sea. So on this one, the sea is behind me and this is towards the town. And then I turned around and faced the sea, and it was near the marina. So there was this lovely cruise ship, and I wanted to try and capture the kind of depth of people. Like there's tiny people swimming, there was these people on the kind of shore edge, and then there was people quite close to me on sun lounges. But I don't know what I did, but I didn't approach it right. I think I was very interested in the boat, and I didn't really think, I couldn't work out how to plan it. Maybe my paper wasn't big enough, maybe I should have started forwards and worked the other way, but I didn't know. I started with this and tried to work backwards, and as you can see I kind of gave up because I wasn't really happy with it. This guy's all wrong, she's okay but he's terrible. Some of this is okay, but as an image it wasn't working, so I just stopped, and instead I turned my attention to the people that were nearest me. There was this lovely woman on the sun lounger, and I really love people sitting on sun loungers because the way they relax and the way their body sinks into the sun lounger is just so nice. And so I like seeing those profiles of people, so I wanted to capture this and leave out, because one of my favourite drawings by George Butler, which I'll try and remember and link below, is a drawing, and I talk about it a lot in like reportage and illustration is about what he's left out and how you understand that these people are sitting in a car because all he's drawn is the people in the shape of the car window. It's one of my favorite images, and it's like a real lasting image for me. So I will try and link that particular image below, because it's for me still one of the most favorite images I've ever seen. And his work is beautiful. I know I've spoken about his book before, and that he's released, and if you like location drawing and you like reportage art, then it's definitely one to look for, or to put on your Christmas list. Anyway, so I wanted to capture her and show that she was on the sun lounger without drawing the sun lounger. I don't think her hand is quite right. I feel like it should have potentially been a bit longer, but I'm not going to worry about it. I know, I kind of felt like I kind of got the essence of her there, so I was quite happy. It was quite nice drawing her. Oh, and then this was our that was Tuesday. Obviously didn't do anything on Wednesday. I think we had a busy day Wednesday and I didn't have any time to draw. And then this was our last day, so this is the morning. I went out to draw in this square that I'd been itching to draw at. It's had this really beautiful pink building, and over here, like further over here, was this beautiful fountain that I've taken photos of that I want to draw from when I've got time. And I went out in the morning without anyone. We had to leave the apartment that morning for by 11, and so I just got out really early, about 9 o'clock, and had 45 minutes here to draw before going back to pack up. And it was just so nice because it was very early, so it wasn't very touristy. They had in the reel that I put of Instagram on this, they are like packing. You can hear them, the kind of clatter behind of them putting out the cafe chairs and tables and stuff. So I was very much sitting and watching like more Valencians, I think, moving around, like going to work. There were some kids going to school and stuff, so it was really nice just to sit and watch. And I was happy with the materials I took. I felt like I had taken the right ones. I felt having a pared back palette was definitely a good idea. And this pink is like the pastel pencil a lot, and some Tombow. And then I was super happy that at the last minute I put in my art graph tin, because this tree was very dark, and I'm not sure, I just was really happy to achieve the marks that I really love from that art graph. So I was really glad I sneaked that in at the last minute. So I didn't quite finish because I kind of ran out of time for it to go back, but sometimes I think that's quite good for me, to run out of time and not to over fiddle with it all and make it something that I don't think it needs to be. I often leave stuff out. A lot of my life drawing is like left like this, and it seems to be the way I work quite naturally. So that was all good. And then after we checked out, we went back to the beach because we had to stay sort of in one place with all our bags for the day, and it was warm again. So went back to the beach, and this time I just tried to tackle lots of people that I saw on the beach. People relaxing. She was reading. She was such a nice position with her leg up, but she was very fidgety, so I found it really difficult to capture her. But she was reading her book on her knee, but you can see she had both legs down, then she put one leg over. So I tried to capture her. This is another person, again, in that sort of sun lounger vibe where they've just sort of sunk into it, which was really nice. This guy on his phone. She was on her phone, these two just chilling out. And then this guy was doing something weird with his hands. I've got no idea what. He kept on kind of putting them down and looking at them. It was a bit weird, but anyway. Yeah. And then this I did from photos on the flight home. Our flight was very late and it was delayed. It was like 9 p.m. or something. So Eden went to sleep straight away, which was great. So I didn't have to do unicorn stickers. And so I just worked on the little tray, the pull down tray table, which was a perfect size for this sketchbook. And I just had my pencil case, because obviously it was very thin, just sat on my lap. And having less material was quite useful in a small space like that, where you're bound to drop things and they roll under the airplane seat and stuff. So I was pleased. This was like a basket shop that we'd walked past a lot and I'd taken a photo of, because I knew I might not have time to sit and draw, so I wanted to draw it from a photograph. And then this one was just around the corner from where we were staying, and again it was just one of those views that I'd seen a lot. I really liked. I like how the buildings went down into the distance. I liked this hostel sign, and it was kind of a bit rough and ready here with like lots of graffiti and like what's the word I want, like a kind of wired fencing that I was just interested in, and this palm tree cutting through the whole image. And so it was just something that I saw daily, because our bikes, we hired bikes and we locked them up in this little, like a tiny square just here. And so I wanted to try and capture this bit around the corner from where we were staying that wasn't particularly picturesque, but it was something that I saw daily and I really liked, and it very much reminds me of where we were. So I did these two on the flight, probably about half an hour, 40 minutes on each one, just to pass the time, and that was really nice. And you know, sometimes like, you know, you might be busy on holiday or not feeling it. I haven't been well for weeks and I still wasn't 100% on the holiday, so I didn't put any pressure on myself to draw loads. I just drew when I could and when I felt like it, and then I've taken lots of photos that I want to draw from, and when I have time, maybe next month in December, if I have a bit of spare time, I want to go back and draw from them again, because I did that a few times with the Tenerife sketchbook, and that was really lovely to come back and draw from that and use a few more materials, you know, some pan pastels and stuff that I didn't take, not loads, but maybe just a little bit extra materials. But yeah, that's it. I don't think there's anything else. No, there's nothing else. So that was what I got done on holiday. Not loads, but I was quite happy with it, and I was happy with the palette, the choices that I took with me. So I'm going to try and be a bit more disciplined even when I go location drawing in the UK. I think it's good practice to limit your materials sometimes. So yeah, I hope that was useful, and hopefully, fingers crossed, this will upload okay. Give me a shout if there's any questions you have, and I'll try and remember to link George's Instagram and the image I'm particularly talking about below. Thanks so much for watching, you guys, and see you all very soon. Bye.